Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art, Julia Jessen, curator from the museum. Welcome.
Thanks for having me again.
And Rachel Schneider, who is a communications intern this summer. Rachel, welcome.
Thank you.
So, where do you go to school?
I go to Iowa State University.
Okay, what are you majoring in?
I'm a public relations major with a minor in event management.
Okay, and interning in the communications area at
Mm-hmm.
the museum this summer.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you in a little bit just to kind of tell me about the kind of things you're doing and what your impressions are working in the museum. Now, are you Cedar Rapids native?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, where'd you go to school?
Oh, and for high school,
Yeah.
I went to Xavier.
Oh,
So
okay. Excellent.
yeah.
Super. Well, welcome. Welcome to
Yeah.
you both. Julia, we were remarking before we rolled tape that the museum has many, many exhibits going on right
We
now.
do indeed.
Probably not a land speed record, but when I went to the website, it was like, oh, okay, there's the current temporary. Oh, there's another current. Oh, there's another one. Oh my gosh, there's one too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so congratulations on
Thanks.
putting the
Yeah.
collection to work.
Yeah, absolutely. We like to bring different things out, always something new to see and explore at the CRMA. So we're enjoying that.
In my mind, so I know that mainly what you're doing is, probably sitting at your computer, looking through the database and going through things and kind of arranging and sorting. But in my mind, you go down to the basement wearing a miner's lamp, maybe yeah, and gloves, and you literally pick through all the things going, oh my gosh, this is cool. But
I actually do a lot of time in storage. It's a lot of spending time down there as well. Not always in a little headgear, headlamp situation. I wish. But yeah, I spend a lot of time down there too, because sometimes you don't realize that something will work for a show until you actually see it. So I do try to spend a lot of
yeah,
time with the collection.
art is that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to truly appreciate it in person.
Yeah.
Looking at a
Absolutely.
picture or something on a computer is not enough.
Yeah.
Which is why we say go to the museum, which we'll say
Yes.
again at the end
Yes.
of the interview. So tell me about the exhibits that are going on now.
Sure, yeah. Our summer shows right now are Tiny Wonders, small scale works from the collection, and then Thinking Big, large scale works from the collection. So two exhibitions that are playing off of each other for sure. Tiny Wonders features a number of our very small works of art pulled from the permanent collection. And then Thinking Big features a lot of the larger works from the permanent collection as
So
well.
it's easy to think of larger works, and we see your Mike Rothko's are huge, but and in your own collection, the Lazansky exhibit
Sure.
that is a
Yes,
permanent
lots of.
exhibit. Those are
Mhm.
tend to be very large.
Mhm.
But tell me, I'm quite curious about the small ones. Tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about what
Yeah.
kinds of things are in the Tiny Wonders exhibit.
It's a big variety. One of the pieces is actually a dollhouse, an artist-made dollhouse, which is a miniature version of his home that he's then filled with lots of tiny furniture that relates back to the rest of his artwork as well. So it's things like that. It's also very, very small prints. We have some tiny little, just a couple inches tall by a couple inches wide, very small prints. Small three-dimensional works as well. A couple of wearable artworks, a couple of pins that are very, very small. Even a Grant Wood self-portrait bust that he created to give out as a Christmas gift to friends and family that fits in kind of the palm of your hand. It's about the size of something that could fit in the palm of your hand. So all kinds of different things.
There was just no end to Grant Wood's cool creativity, was there?
Yeah, lots of humor, lots of fun. Yeah, and a huge variety with
and
him.
a 2-inch print. So I have to ask, do you provide magnifying glasses?
Ugh, we didn't this time around. You have to kind of get close and look intently down in there.
So then at the opposite end of the spectrum, with with the large pieces,
Yeah.
what were you thinking? Obviously you just didn't, you weren't just going strictly for size. So
Yeah.
what was kind of, as aside from large scale, what were the
Mhm,
other thematic
mhm.
aspects that you planned for that?
Yeah. Well, things that ended up coming through with these large scale works, obviously there are a lot that are abstract. We have quite a few abstract large scale works in the collection, but then there's also a lot that are dealing with the land and landscapes too. And those ended up kind of finding each other in the gallery space, which ends up being nice. And then in the third gallery space that comprises that exhibition, It's a smaller gallery itself, and then we also have a couple of works in that gallery which feature interior spaces. So large-scale depictions of these interior spaces in a smaller gallery, I think ends up creating this really interesting sense of claustrophobia for you as you're going in, because you're coming from another gallery that has large-scale works that are sort of wide open spaces looking at the landscape in this very wide open way, and there's a lot of space in that gallery. And then you move into a much smaller gallery with interior spaces, and it's sort of claustrophobic in that way. So I think there's an interesting experience for the visitor to move through these galleries and experience the works and see how it affects them too, see how it affects how they feel in the gallery.
You have a couple of other exhibits that have been going for a while and are
Yeah.
going, temporary in that they aren't part of the permanent
Yeah.
collection, but they've been going for several months.
Yeah. Yeah, so we also have Roy Biv, which is all about color. So the walls are grouped in all of these different color ways, kind of focusing on the colors of the rainbow. And we did just change out a few of the works in that exhibition because they were works on paper. And so with works on paper, we can't have them up as long for conservation reasons. So we changed out a few of those. So there may be something new in that gallery. If you've already been before, there may be a few new things to see. And then we have the Vessel, which is up on our second floor. That opened in April, I want to say, and that'll be up for about a year. But it's all vessels from our permanent collection. So it's ceramics, it's glass, it's wood, even paper. So a lot of material variety there as well.
One could almost argue that, taking aside from, say, cave paintings, that
Mhm.
vessels may have been the very first art form that people needed things to carry food and water in,
Yeah.
and then they started decorating them.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that is so interesting to consider in the exhibition, that vessels are a way that we understand culture as well, that we understand past cultures, that we understand our own culture as well. Oftentimes they are kind of the only evidence of certain cultures that we have. And there are definitely artists in that exhibition that are thinking about that history as well and engaging with it in their contemporary artworks. So it's a really interesting combination.
And so we're talking about the exhibits that are going on this summer at the Museum of Art, but there's also something else that you wanted to come in and talk about, and that was how
Yes.
easy it is to see
Yes.
the exhibits over the summer.
Absolutely. So we have free summer going on starting July 2nd and running through September 1st, I think. Is that right, Rachel?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we have free summer going on. So admission is free. So you can come in during our open hours and check out all of this artwork for free, which is wonderful. And we love to be able to provide that access.
So, Rachel, you're interning in the communications department, which, which thinks, oh, well, doing interviews. Like, look, here you are. And news releases, probably working on the website, but also kind of knowing that the Museum of Art has a fairly small staff. I'll bet you found yourself getting pulled into lots of different things.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They had me helping out with art pickup for the different artists on like my second day, which is definitely something a lot different than just like posting pictures and doing social media stuff. But it was good to do just a variety of different stuff. I'm there to help out with whatever.
So what's been the most surprising or unusual, thing that you've seen or done as you've, been exposed to this art? Is there anything that's really just, just really knocked you out?
I just think all the different art pieces have just been so interesting. I've always been really interested in art, but seeing it in this way and it's just like a whole new way is really cool to experience. There's lots of different colorful ones, more different just ones that are a little bit more like disturbing in a sense. You're just like not like aware, and you're just like, oh, like that's interesting, but it's a piece of art and it's pretty cool. So yeah.
Some of the most memorable pieces I've seen have been disturbing.
Yeah. We always love something that's a little challenging, I think that's good to have pieces like that in the art museum and be able to feel challenged in a way.
So 4 exhibits up right now, in addition to the permanent exhibits. And boy, if you haven't, been through the Grant Wood and the Marvin Cone and the Roman bus,
Classics.
don't wait until you have family in town and saying, let's go to the art museum. It's it's something that you can do really at any time and find them again. And they are Tiny Wonders.
Yes, yep. That runs through September 1st.
Thinking Big.
That runs through September 15th.
Roy G. Biv.
That runs through later in the fall.
Close enough. Yeah. And I love that. Now, for those for those who don't remember their 7th grade science, Roy G. Biv
Yes.
is it's the order of the colors in the rainbow,
Yes,
or,
yeah,
or a
yeah.
prism, or a
Mhm,
prism. I
mhm.
had to think about that for a minute myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And then vessels.
Yeah, yep,
Wow.
and that goes through the spring of 2025.
Now, if people want to find out more about any of this, check museum hours, anything like that, they can visit your website, Rachel, which is?
CRFA.org, yes.
And then it sounds like you're doing a lot of social media and
Yes, I
things
am.
like that. So what are the best social channels to see what's going on at the museum?
So Instagram is the one that I'm using the most. So it's I can't remember the login specifically, but it's the CR Museum of Art underscore. A lot of underscores in there. And then also Facebook, Cedar Rapids Museum of Art as well. I think those are our main 2 channels for the most part. So yeah, definitely check those out.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram. So
Well, we always think about summer as being a time for outdoor activities, but
Yes.
sometimes you just want to spend a little time in some nice air-conditioned
Yeah.
spaces and
Mhm.
see cool art, and that is what the Museum of Art is for. So have fun with all this stuff, all your activities this summer. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Dennis.
Thanks for coming in. You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30 or download the podcast. Watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture. You can watch our videos on Facebook or YouTube with the KCCK channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. I'm Dennis Green. I'll talk to you later.